Hey guys, Don here, and today we're going to talk about an all-new flagship smartphone that is finally available globally, the Honor Magic4 Pro. I personally am a longtime user of the Honor Magic 3 because I do live in China and they do sell it here. And this smartphone has been my main workhorse when it comes to making videos for vlogs or cinematic videos for my girlfriend's channel. And I just use this so much actually when I travel. And when I saw the launch of the new Honor Magic4 Pro, I was more than excited to try it out and upgrade. So I reached out to Honor to see if they can send me one out to test out, and actually to my surprise, they did. So for full disclosure purposes, Honor lent me this phone for review, and I don't get to keep it, no money has changed hands, and Honor does not get any input on this video's production or get to preview it before it is posted. I also don't have a sponsor because, well, I am just starting off. So hopefully in the future. We will talk about the design, display, specs, and saving the best for the last. There's an absolutely incredible feature that really shocked me when I tested this phone out, so stay tuned. Starting with the design, the cyan color and curved edge glass is absolutely beautiful, and paired with the metal frame around the outside gives it a very high-end look. There are 5 colors to choose from, including gold, cyan, white, black, and orange vegan leather. On the back is a symmetrical camera housing design, also known as the Eye of Muse, which includes a triple camera circular layout featuring a 50 megapixel main camera, a 50 megapixel 122 degree ultra wide angle camera, and a 64 megapixel telephoto camera. It also houses the inbuilt 8x8 TOF laser focusing sensor, which improves image focusing speeds and accuracy in low light environments, while the flicker sensor helps reduce flickers during photo shoots. I will go into detail later on in the video about the photo and video capabilities, as I think it houses some of the most incredible features offered on any smartphones. And surprisingly, no one really talks about this. Moving on, the total weight is 209 grams and 9.2 millimeters thick, which is not the thinnest phone out there, but with the specs it offers, it definitely is reasonable. On the side, there's a volume and power button, and on the bottom, there's a dual SIM card holder with a water-resistant seal for the IP68 certification. Beside that, there's the USB 3.1 Type-C port, and there are dual speakers on top and bottom, plus DTS:X Ultra audio. You also can't forget about the IR blaster along with a microphone. And just like all the other flagship smartphones out there, there isn't a 3.5mm headphone jack. I personally like this design quite a lot since it does look really balanced, and even with the camera bulge, without a phone case, it still sits quite flat on a table. Now, coming to the front, the 120Hz HDR 10 Plus 6.81 inches display is truly quite impressive, as it can peak over 1000 nits of brightness. Though, because it does have a curved edge, the colors on the edges do shift a little bit. The special features from the Magic 4 are the video enhancer and frame rate booster, which can enhance viewing experiences for YouTube, Netflix, and Prime Video. After testing it, it does make things smoother, but it will use a little bit more battery. It does also have a smart resolution feature that can scale resolution up or down to save processing power and battery, along with the 120, 90, and 60 Hz refresh rate to choose from, which you can also save some power depending on what you're looking for. On top of all this, the Honor Magic4 Pro delivers a pulse width modulation of 1920 Hz, which is the highest ever achieved in an LTPO screen. This helps minimize eye strain over long periods of use by reducing fluctuations in brightness and decreases the occurrence of screen flickering in displays that features brightness levels of below 90 nits, which we will usually use in low light environments like in bed. The Magic 4 runs Magic UI 6, and I've encountered no bugs yet, and the performance has been quite good so far. Google is also supported right now, right out of the box, so that's good news for everyone who is using the Google ecosystem. Underneath the screen, there is the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner, which uses sound waves instead of light and does its job quite well unlocking the phone, paired with the facial recognition system. The Magic 4 is equipped with the latest Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 5G mobile platform, along with an ultra-large 4600 mAh battery paired with an industry-first 100-watt supercharger that can charge the entire battery in around 36 minutes. And now to the cameras and built-in video features that I truly think sets this phone apart as a filmmaker smartphone, and I honestly am really surprised that not many people are talking about these amazing features. To start off, let's take a look at the cameras and photos it produces. We have a 50 megapixel wide camera, a 50 megapixel ultra wide camera, and a 64 megapixel periscope telephoto camera that are all powered by multi-camera fusion computational photography, which enables the device to produce high definition images. The 50 megapixel main camera has an aperture of f1.8 so that it can capture more light, which means that it can enhance image quality even at nighttime or low light environments. Although on the downside, it doesn't have optical image stabilization, but personally for me, I don't think it's a deal breaker since it is wide enough that you really don't see these micro jitters that much. The second camera is a 50 megapixel ultra wide camera with a 122 degree field of view and f2.2 aperture, which also doubles as a 2.5 centimeter macro camera for close-up detail shots, allowing users to capture more elements in the frame with minimized perspective distortion. The third camera is a 64 megapixel high-resolution telephoto lens with an aperture of 3.5 and also has optical image stabilization, which supports 3.5 times optical zoom, 10 times hybrid zoom, and 100 times digital zoom. I personally would stick to the 3.5 optical zoom for the best image quality, though the 10 times zoom can still produce great photos, but not as clear, and I personally think that anything over the 10 times zoom is a bit of a gimmick since it is digitally zoomed, which loses its image quality. These three cameras are really quite capable in different lighting situations, though you would still get the best details and contrast when taking photos in good lighting. I really enjoy the Pro mode for taking photos since you can adjust your own ISO, shutter speed, and aperture to get the best results for the shot that you want to take. But it does take a bit of learning to understand what the best settings are for different situations. And you have the option to also shoot in JPEG, JPEG large, or RAW, which will maintain the most information for editing in post, though the files are very large. And there's also the aperture mode, which gives you close-up photos and nice bokeh effect, which works well if you are taking pictures of food or items up close. And it is also available when you are using the portrait mode. The software is very good already at sensing depth, though it is still different if you were to use a DSLR camera with a huge lens and shallow depth of field. And lastly, there is the night mode, which functions quite similar to the HDR feature on most cameras, which takes multiple pictures at different exposures and then compiles them together into one photo. And as you can see, it does look pretty good. On the front, there is a pill-shaped cutout, which I personally don't really mind, and I do find it less distracting than some other brands. After all, it does contain an f2.4 12 megapixel camera that can take 100-degree super wide angle selfies and also 4K video at up to 30 frames per second, along with another depth of field sensor to assist with face unlock and detection. And now to the feature that I absolutely love about this phone that nobody really talks about, the video capabilities. There are three modes to shoot in: normal video mode, movie mode, and pro mode. For the normal video mode, you can shoot in 4K at 21:9 and 16:9, 1080p at 21:9, and the default 8 option of 16:9, as well as 16:9 in 720p. You can shoot at 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second, though the beautification effects and filters are not available in 4K or 60 frames per second. In this mode, you can zoom in from wide to 1 times to 10 times, though the ultra wide angle is only available in 30 frames per second. Next is the movie mode. In this mode, you can shoot at 4K 21:9 and 16:9, as well as 1080p and 21:9 wide ratio. You can also choose between shooting 4K HDR, log, or shoot a LUT directly into the video as well. In this mode, you can get access to 24 frames per second video, which is the most natural looking frame rate, closest to what the human eye can see, along with 30 frames per second video, though you can only shoot the highest 60 frames per second videos in the log mode. I think the real game changer here is being able to shoot in 10-bit 4K log format at 60 frames per second in movie and pro mode, which is a first in smartphones. I was really surprised to see Honor integrating their own log profile called Magic Log, because you would only usually see this feature in pro filmmaking cameras such as the Canon R series or Sony A7 series DSLR cameras that cost thousands of dollars more, and being able to record in 10-bit 4K up to 60 frames per second at a super wide aspect ratio means you can make very smooth, slow motion cinematic shots while capturing a greater amount of colors and dynamic range. Shooting in the log profile gives an image the gray and washed out look, and it doesn't look really good just yet, but it has a wider usable dynamic range that can maintain more of the shadows and highlights of a video. This way you're able to bring the colors and details back when color grading while editing afterwards. Whereas if you were to shoot in the normal mode, what you see is what you would be getting. So you wouldn't have that much ability to adjust the colors or the details in post. When shooting in log, I would suggest editing on a computer to get the most out of the footage that you have captured. But incredibly, the Magic 4 also has 8 built-in color LUTs that can be directly applied to the log video in the editing tab to give the videos a variety of different looks and feelings that are just so easy to use. Though in this version I have, it is only available in the 24 and 30 frames per second log videos. So hopefully it will be made available for the 60 frames per second in the future, but it really doesn't affect me personally that much since I edit all my footage on my computer anyways. Another surprising thing was while I was looking through the Honor website, I actually accidentally stumbled across the Rec 709 Restore Cube file for the Honor Magic Log to get the video back into a normal looking color space if you were editing on the computer. This way you have the option to use even more LUTs that are made for the Rec 709 color space. But it would have been nice to be able to find this file easier or have it as a default within the phone. So if you guys are looking for it, hopefully this will help you find it. On top of all of this, in the Pro mode, you can change the shutter speed, ISO, white balance, and even use manual focus to get some interesting shots. Though I found that the focus lock is only available in the movie mode for revealing shots, so that's something to keep in mind when you're using the movie mode or the Pro mode. With all these options, you really have a lot to work with if you're looking to do some creative content or cinematic videos. For this review, I really wanted to focus on the video specs that the other creators really haven't touched on or talked about and show you guys something different. But if you're really into these detailed tests on power consumption or pushing the limits of the Snapdragon chip, I really suggest checking out Tech Tablet's latest video on the Magic 4. He does a very detailed analysis on the hardware as well as softwares. And if you have stuck around this far into the video, thank you very much, and I hope you have really enjoyed this review, and let me know if you're interested in seeing anything else. And since I just started this channel, I'm still trying to figure everything out, including content, shooting styles, as well as techniques. So thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Till next time.